After posting the video on the beaded hack, one of you requested that I make a video on how to knot. And here we are with the lesson. I want to say a big thank you to each one of you for your patronage and also for the video ideas.
Let me share a word of caution here. As a beginner, as you progress in knotting, you are going to feel a little bit of harshness at the side of your little finger, or it's going to feel like there is a little lump over there, and that is because you will be stretching your hands to form the knot all the time. You may have to protect those fingers as a beginner.
With the first approach, I am using fishing line 0.7
and black sugar beads. I'll string 3 beads and make sure that the 2 ends of the fishing line meet, so to get it even. By this, I'll have the beads at the middle, so where the first bead on the working line, where it is, I am going to bend that fishing line. When I bend it, I'm going to have 2 fishing lines, so I'll pass the 2 through the 4th bead to form a loop like this. Then I'll pass the other fishing line through and gently pull the one on my right, so to form a knot and hide it in the 4th bead. I'm going to continue knotting by putting 1 bead on each of the fishing lines. Then I'll add the one using the technique I just shared. This is not going to be as easy as I have explained. Sometimes the knot might not be at the center, but you have to make sure that you get most of the knot in the middle. If not, you are not going to have the work straight. So dedicate about a day on a small mat with this technique to practice with. Hi, my name is NanaGh. I share videos on crafts, most especially on beads, on this platform. And so if it's something that arouses your interest, kindly subscribe and also put on your notification bell, so that anytime I make an upload, you would be notified to be among the first to see it. When I began, the fishing line was even, but let's do a length check to see if it's so. You realize at this point that 1/2 is longer than the other. The working thread will be shorter than the other because of the knot that we are forming. So the knot is consuming some of the fishing line, and I usually use this when I am making a 4/4 mat, a mat of 4/4 beads. To reduce the waste and economize, I am going to change hands so that the left line will be my right before I turn, and by that I am going to work with the left fishing line, so it is also going to be making the knot and is going to have the fishing line becoming even at a point. So by the time I end the work, I'm not going to have a longer thread going waste. Before we move on to the second approach, let's do another length check to see whether it worked. And as you can see, the fishing line is almost at the same length, so I will move on to the second approach. I'm using fishing line 0.6 and round beads. I'll string 3 beads and draw them to the middle and make sure that the 2 ends of the fishing line meet to get the thread even. Then I would pull the working line to have it longer than the left fishing line. I use this in the first approach whenever I am making a mat of 6 rings because I don't get to change hands as I progress. So the first bead on the working thread, that is the one I have made longer, I am going to grip it so it does not shift, and then I'll pass the same fishing line through that bead to form a loop. So when that loop is formed, I will pass the other line through it. So that is it. I have shown you 2 approaches, but for me and my household, we prefer the former to the latter. One thing that I want you to know is that the heavier the fishing line, the firmer the work. But I also think of the occupational hazard here, so I always go in for the line 0.62 to reduce the harshness. This is where I will draw the curtains on today's lesson. Until I grace your screens again, beloved, keep hope alive. Bye bye.